The queens walk into the workroom and congratulate Silver for winning Snatch Game, and Staryu for surviving the lip sync. Silver is smiling from ear to ear, which Tiny asks as to why Silver is so happy. He then says is happy that Pudding is finally gone.
It's a new day on the workroom, and oh my god, never have I been so happy for someone to not be in the workroom. Kiss my ass, Pudding, cuz guess what, I have a win.
Miku then asked Staryu how she feels about being in the bottom. Staryu then says it made her realize the whole drama that was going on was just bitchy and rude, and she then says she'll be in her congenial era from now on. Pave then laughs to himself and tells Staryu to say another joke.
Staryu, in her congenial era? That's funny, tell another one, sweetie. She really isn't fooling anyone. Or she is serious, and I'm a conspiracy theorist.
Do I like Silver? Absolutely not. Am I gonna keep getting into scream matches with him the rest of the season? Well, if he watches his mouth around me, I won't drag him.
Lilamon then says what challenge do the queens think is coming up next. Miku then says she's praying for a girl group challenge so she could get another top placement after being snuffed of one during Snatch Game. Flurry then stares at Miku and asks her who she would have replaced in the top. Miku then takes a few moments to think before saying she would have replaced Flurry. Flurry then stares at her, followed by shocked expressions from Tiny and Pave.
I know this little bitch didn't just say my name, girl, be for real. You played to characters and did to underperforming Snatch Games, and her runway was the most basic ass thing.
Flurry then says Miku can't put her money where her mouth is. Miku then says Flurry's right because all of her money goes to her runways. Flurry then claps back with saying that it's clearly not showing and that not only are her runways boring, her performance in the Snatch Game was boring. Miku rolls her eyes and then asks the others what challenge they want to see next.
My god, Flurry gagged her so hard Miku didn't even say anything back, he just moved onward with the conversation. I don't get why Miku suddenly has become delusional. Maybe it's because Pudding left and we need a new delusional diva.
Lilamon then says there has yet to be a team challenge and it's now the 5th episode. Staryu then says maybe there will be a team challenge this episode. Silver then asks who would everyone like to be on a team with, who Tiny says she doesn't want to be with anyone cause they are all shady bitches, getting some laughs from the others, but then production walked in to tell the queens to get ready for the mini challenge. Tiny won the mini challenge.
Winning the mini challenge this week honestly makes me feel more confident in this week's challenge with one good step forward. Production also said I'd be getting advantage for the mini challenge, so this will be fun.
Hello, my queens. This week, as you know, you're all sisters for life, so maybe this week you can all work together like sisters. So this week, we will be having a girl groups challenge.
A girl group challenge? Well, thank you, Musa, for the free win. I'll gladly cash this check.
Now then, you will all be writing verses for the upcoming holiday Halloween in a new hit song called Dead or Alive. Tiny Kong, as the winner of this week's mini challenge, you will be able to assign your team for this week's maxi challenge.
Oh my god, I really hit the jackpot by winning this week's challenge. Thank you, Musa. Well, this is probably gonna be the easiest choice in this competition. Come on over, Pave.
First pick. Am I surprised? Absolutely not. I'm so excited to be on the same team with Tiny since I'd like to think we are pretty good friends.
Who's next, Mrs. Kong?
I'll be taking Silver the Hedgehog.
So far I like this team. I hope we will be able to win, but I don't think we will do bad. Hopefully Tiny picks someone like Mama or Flurry.
And who's your final pick, Tiny?
Staryu.
Well, that was an interesting choice. I'd rather be picked last than not being on this team. Silver better watch himself this week.
Well, this is an interesting lineup anyhow, Flurry. Mama, Mika, and Liliman, you will all be the other team now then, ladies. Good luck, and don't fuck it up.
So this team is definitely interesting. None of us are really known for being dancers, and Miku is the only one who actually has experience doing music. Maybe she'd be a good team leader.
The two groups have a quick stare off. Miku then wishes the other group luck, and Staryu then says Mikas is gonna need it more than them, getting a few laughs from the queens before each group splits off into two. Team 1 get to working on their verses with Pave and Tiny brainstorming ideas for the whole group and all writing down their verses. Silver then asks the others what they think about the other group. Tiny then says she picked this group for a reason. Pave then says that the only real threat there is Miku, but she's been on something lately.
Girl, the other team is a mess. Miku maybe is on ketamine like the twins. Flurry and Miku are beefing and Mama and Liliman can't dance. It's gonna be embarrassing.
Meanwhile, on the other team, tensions seem high with Flurry working by herself, writing her verse down, not really talking with the others. Meanwhile, Mama and Lalamon are talking together, and Miku is near them working together. Miku then says that she thinks she might need to talk to Flurry to have this team to work together. Lalamon agrees, and so does Mama. Miku sighs before walking over to Flurry.
So me and Flurry had a moment before the challenge was announced, and now she's refusing to talk to me. She appears to be taking what I said personally.
Out of all teams, why was I forced to be on this one? I'm already not that confident in my dancing skills. Also, this team is just dysfunctional as hell.
Miku pulls Flurry aside and asks her what's the tea. Flurry then says she doesn't want to be working with another delusional pop star. She then says that Miku had no room to say she should have replaced her in the top. Miku then says she just stated her opinion and then said it wasn't a fact. Flurry then rolls her eyes and walked off back to their team.
At first I thought I had respect for Miku with her coming to talk to me, but now I realized she's just a bitch who can't realize that her opinions are completely delusional.
Flurry walks back to Mama and Lalamon. Mama asks what happened with her and Miku. Flurry says that Miku said that her thinking she'd replace herself in the snatch game was just an opinion and that she shouldn't take things so personally. Lalamon groans and says that both Flurry and Miku need to put aside their differences for the challenge or else it'll be their team losing. Flurry nods and then tells Lalamon to tell Miku that instead of her because she'd be willing to do that.
I'm honestly worried for this team. Liliman is over it. Flurry is pissed at Miku and Miku is pissed at Flurry and doing whatever she thinks leading this team is.
Mama then gathers Miku over to the rest of the team. She then tells both Miku and Flurry to suck up whatever drama they have and they both have to at least work together, so they better step it up. Miku agrees to drop it and so does Flurry, both eyeing each other while the group continues to write their verses.
Well, I didn't mean to go full single mother scolding her to children, but honestly that's how I feel right now, because as much as I love Flurry, those two are pissing me off right now.
Team 1 is on the main stage to now choreograph their girl group. Pave volunteers to be the lead choreographer and the rest of the groups agrees. Pave starts by asking who can dance and who can't. Tiny says she can dance. Staryu then says the lip sync against Lycia didn't show it. Tiny then playfully flips her off. Silver says is alright and Staryu says she doesn't really have all that much experience dancing. Silver then squints his eyes at her.
Oh, so I was right about the rusical interesting Staryu.
Pave starts off by doing each individual choreo for each verse. With Tiny the choreo went well, but with Silver and Staryu they started having trouble with Pave making some difficult choreo. Staryu then says that maybe they could make the choreo more easy and Tiny says she can choreograph for Silver and Staryu. Pave says he can manage dumbing the choreo down. Staryu then says Pave isn't supposed to dumb it down, is supposed to make the choreo accessible for everyone. Pave then tells Staryu to just be quiet so he can think of something for her and Silver.
Girl, Pave says he's a choreographer, yeah, maybe for bitches who can do flips and kicks on command, but if he's a real choreographer, then he should know he's supposed to choreograph for everyone.
I don't get why Staryu is deciding to get cute in my face like I'm used to competent performers, not busted quote-unquote stars.
Pave then takes a deep breath and then starts to work with Silver on his choreo, giving him a simple slow strut across the stage followed by the others. He then works with Staryu. He then stops and says he has no idea what to do for Staryu. Tiny then says she could help and Pave lets her do so. Tiny then helps Staryu and she was luckily able to help Staryu. The group ends off their practice with a final group pose with both Pave and Tiny dropping into the splits.
Surprisingly, this wasn't that bad despite the small moment with Pave and Staryu, but I do think that we're able to pull out a great performance.
Well, I definitely learned more about the people in my team. Silver is weirdly out of his element when it comes to dancing. Staryu just seems to be like back to where she was when she was a local girl. She barely talks, and Pave can't take criticism when it comes to his choreography, but I think we ate.
Team 2 walks out onto the main stage with Miku and Mama taking over for the choreography. Miku handling more of the positioning with the group starting out in the back of the main stage and then strut to the front. Flurry then says that it'll be hard for her to strut without legs, getting a laugh from Lalamon. Miku then asks if anyone has any ideas for what they should do with the choreo. Lalamon says she'd prefer if her verse would have less choreo due to the fact she isn't a dancer. Miku grits her teeth and nods her head to Liliman's idea.
Girl, she knows what a girl group is, right? When it's your verse, you're supposed to be serving dancer tea and have your spotlight. Guess she doesn't want that.
The group continues to work on the choreo. While working on Mama's part of the choreo, she seems to be stumbling around a bit. Flurry asks if Mama is okay with the choreo. She then says she's fine, but as the group is working on Mama's part, she stumbles some more and then falls. Lilamon and Flurry help Mama up before Miku says maybe she should get some easier choreo.
Well, hope our team doesn't go crashing down like I did during the practice, haha. But in all seriousness, that fall made me more nervous for this challenge.
While choreographing Flurry's part, Miku gives Flurry a center moment with the others all circling around her while she floats up. Once they finish the part, the others then clap for Flurry before they end the practice with a cute ending pose before all walking back into the workroom.
Girl, I hope Flurry's part makes the judges levitate like she did, because I don't really think me or Mama will be great help for this challenge. I mean, she literally fell during our practice.
Well, I'm glad me and Miku were able to put aside our differences for our team, Mum. Do I think just that alone will give us the win? Most likely not, but I can pray.
Hello, welcome to the main stage of Cartoon Drag Race Holland. I'm your host, Musa. Now then, this week I challenged my queens to split up into two and make a sickening girl group versus. Now then, let's meet our judges, shall we? First, our permanent judges, Katie and Sadie, and another duo, a pop star duo of the hit icons who also went to jail, Velvet and Veneer. Now then, let's see how our queens did.
Pave slayed the challenge. Tiny and Miku had a great performance.
Oh girl, when my verse started till it was finished, the judges were eating me up, and to nobody's surprise.
Well, I'm not even trying to be delusional this time. Fully 8. Honestly, nobody this week really did that bad, aside from someone.
Madame Flurry, Staryu, Silver and Lilamon had a good performance.
Well, the gag I thought was gonna be my moment, the judges didn't really seem to eat up as much as I anticipated. But I think my verse was pretty good.
This is definitely a step up from the Rusical. I think my team slayed this challenge, and I'll admit I spent the entire night practicing the choreo.
Mama had a bad performance.
Oh god, I think the judges saw the fear in my eyes while performing. I'm not one for choreography, and my verse didn't get the fanfare I was hoping for.
Well, ladies, that was quite the performance, but we aren't done yet because now it's time to bring it to the runway category, is Halloween House Party.
Tiny, Miku, Silver, Staryu and Mama had a great runway.
Well, despite the fact I stumbled in the girl group, can tell the judges are at least eating up my Grim Reaper runway, which is great.
Pave, Flurry and Lilamon had a good runway.
I like my runway. I had to make this in my hotel room into ours because my original runway was ripped on the way to the hotel. But I think it shows it was done into ours, which I'm very pissed at because I paid good money for it.
Welcome, my queens. I'd like to thank you all for a great challenge, definitely my favorite of the season. Now then, since you all worked in teams and I wanted to advise teamwork, and all of you will be judged in teams, so our winning team is... Team 1, congratulations, you're the winner of this week's challenge, meaning every single of you four will get a maxi challenge win. Now then, you may walk to the back of the stage.
Oh my god, period. I gotta win, sure. It's a group win. But I made this group, so y'all can suck it.
Now then, Hats and Miku, seeing how you did the best out of your team and almost out of the rest of the competition, you're safe.
I know damn well she did not just say I did better than almost everyone else. I could have been in the top.
Flurry, Mama and Liliman, I'm sorry my dears, you all represent the tops and bottoms of the week. Flurry, you're safe. Mama and Liliman, I'm sorry my dears, but you are up for elimination.
I'm so crushed right now. I feel like I let the judges and Musa down after my performance, but I will not let this break me down.
Mama, you flopped the girl group, so maybe you could be a deer and flop the lip sync. I need to stay in this competition.
Mama had a bad lip sync. Lilamon flopped the lip sync.
Meg, cooking Mama Shantae, you stay. Liliman, you came into this competition with all the poise and glamour in the world, and now you're leaving with even more. Now then, Liliman, sashay away.
The queens walk into the Untucked Lounge, the winners all very excitedly walking in with the four of them congratulating each other, followed by the other three. Silver then congratulates Mama on surviving the lip sync flurry, then says she barely survived, getting some laughs from the other queens. Pave says is gonna miss Lalamon and her occasional shady read. Staryu then says she was filler, getting a stifled laugh from Silver, and some of the others look gagged, and then Staryu says she's right. Tiny asks if anyone thinks the placements would be different if the challenge wasn't judged in teams. Miku then says she thinks many things would have changed. Flurry then says it's typical for Miku to think she should be in the top. Miku then tells Flurry she'd feel that way this week if she was stuck on a team with a bunch of queens who can't dance and can barely perform. Flurry then claps back at Miku saying she can perform, and that Micah's view of performing is just having a diva moment and being all high energy performances. Miku then says that Musa said that Miku would have been in the top this week if it weren't for the fact the challenge was judged in teams. Miku then goes on to say that half of the girls on the winning team should have been safe, not near close to a win. Silver then tells Miku maybe don't take her anger out on the two teammates, and Miku tells Silver to shut up because she has a right to be angry at her two teammates for dragging her down to safe. Before Silver could say anything, she then storms off. Pave then follows her, and so does Tiny. Pave and Tiny find Miku outside looking frustrated. Tiny then gives Miku a hug saying she did really good in the challenge. Miku then says she knows she did, getting a laugh from Pave. Pave then tells Miku that everyone else on that room just doesn't understand. Miku nods, and Pave continues to say that Micah's feelings are valid unless it was about her being in the top during Snatch Game. Tiny then playfully smacks Pave on his arm. Back in the Untucked Lounge with all the queens, Staryu then asks if everything is over with for drama this week, getting a laugh from Flurry and Silver. The queens continue to chat before a TV is wheeled, and Silver then says he forgot they did this. Suddenly on the TV, Misty and Starmie appear, and Staryu immediately starts almost crying. The two both say how proud they are that Staryu even got on the show to begin with, and Starmie says that Staryu is going to need to work harder if she wants to follow in Mummy's footsteps by winning a first season. Staryu says she'll absolutely win. Silver then looks at Staryu and shrugs his shoulders, saying they're getting some laughs from the others. Misty and Starmie wish Staryu luck before the TV turns off. The Untucked ends with all the queens being ushered out of the Untucked Lounge.